My favorite time to spend outside with the birds is after a nice rainfall. Blue and Sweet Girl shared a tree while they preened their wet feathers. Feisty Jay is looking rather rough from molting, much more so than the other jays. Over the past few days, I've been seeing the fledglings a lot more because they chase their parents wherever they go. I took some time to visit Hermoso in the nuthatches. I think Fiona is nesting again. I didn't get to see Lentil, but her mate came by long enough to catch a peanut. They must be pretty busy with nestlings. I also saw Minnie, Tim, and Angel, which was very nice because I rarely see them lately. That's normal during the nesting season.
Girl.
I went back down to see the jays shortly after. There is one jay that I rarely see anymore. In fact, for the last 3 days, I haven't seen him. Snowy's mate, Webster. I have a bad feeling. After some serious probing around, I found him. He didn't look well. He was sleeping and not involved with taking care of the babies. I think Webster caught something. I have no idea what it could be, and with this jay as skittish as he is, I will never be able to find out. I hope he gets better though. Going to have to keep a lookout for him every time I'm out here. On the way home, I saw that the lupins are in full bloom, and down in the yard I was greeted by Hoppy.
Happy.
I was struck by how beautiful she looked against the vivid green grass. So pretty. I took a break today and went trout fishing with my mate. It was nice, and afterward I got to explore around for a bit. I didn't like the leech very much. Ugh. I can't help it, it's just the thought of one attached to me sucking my blood. No thanks, I'll pass. On the way out, we saw a greater yellow legs on top of a tree. Looks so funny up there like that. Don't think I've ever seen them do that before. Back at home, I made a quick trip up to see as many of the birds as I could. Blue and Sweet Girl, Feisty Jay. I don't know what the old thing is. It's been there forever, long before I started coming around. The little ones were very vocal today and chased their parents around a lot. It's nice to see all the blue jays together raising their babies. Pretty smart. The more eyes, the better. As evening approached, it began to rain lightly. This morning I found the jays hanging around an old wrecked car. I wouldn't be able to tell you how long this has been here. It was long before I was born, for sure. How many birds made a nest in there, I wonder, and other critters too. The jays seem perfectly at home. I can only imagine the things they go around. I went up to see Hermoso for a bit, and Fiona was there this time. I guess she isn't nesting after all. Hermoso gave her a couple of food offerings. Lentil came by too, and a couple of sparrows came out to greet me. After that, I went up to see Hatch and Maggie. Something doesn't seem right between these two. Hatch is being all submissive to her. Back down with the jays, I actually got to see Webster. He came to me. I thought that would be a good sign, but when I saw him trying to break open the peanut, I realized that something isn't right. It was like he didn't have the strength or coordination to do it. I felt so bad. He did manage to get the peanut out though, and then the youngsters came by, causing him to abandon it. I tried so hard after that to get him some peanuts out of the shell, but with all the other jays here, it was impossible. They actually started ganging up on him, causing him to flee. Snowy is on her own, but she seems to do an incredible job. By evening, I heard a lot of ruckus from the jays. It was like a war. I don't know what happened, but I think Webster got attacked either by the jays who wanted him out of the territory due to him being sick, or it was a predator. Heartbroken. I went again on another fishing trip, this time to a very small but beautiful pond. I walked around it and found a spotted sandpiper searching for food. It was alarm calling too. Wasn't long before I discovered why. He had a little fledgling with him. That was sweet to watch. What a lovely trip. I got back home with enough time to visit the jays. I saw Snowy. It's been days since I've seen Webster. I think he's gone. I don't know what Snowy is going to do. I also saw Hatch for a bit and figured out that he and Maggie have split up. And Hatch is back over in the other woods that he was kicked out into from the last mate, Patch. Oh my. The fledglings are getting big and growing their independence. The adults are always nearby watching. I'm so proud of Snowy. She did a great job raising them on her own since Webster died. As always, I visited Hermoso. No Fiona again, so I think she is nesting. I don't know, but if you ask me, seems like Hermoso is liking having all of the territory to himself these last few weeks. This is the stage of baby blue jays that I enjoy watching. Their curious ways, learning, and things like that. I put some peanuts down for the adults. Blue grabbed one, and then a fledgling decided it wanted to grab one too. Didn't know what to pick though. Sweet Girl didn't care for peanuts, she was tending to her feathers. And Snowy was busy with demanding young ones. When I left to go up and visit Hermoso and the little birds, a couple fledgling jays followed me. Well then, looks like they know where the peanuts come from. I'm fairly certain that I witnessed courtship between Snowy and I guess a new interested male. What I found very interesting was how even the ones who already have a mate got involved, making the sounds and bobbing up and down. Blue jays are by far the most interesting birds I know. Best of luck to you, Snowy. It was only meant to be a few minutes out here today. When I left to go back home, some of the little jays followed me. I must be like a friend of the family to them, but I don't know what they thought when they saw me with a cat. This friendly guy belongs to a neighbor. I don't see him often, sometimes it's a year or two before I see him again, but when he sees me, he comes over for some petting. I wish people wouldn't let their cats roam, though. I'm seeing butterflies often now. I believe this is a white admiral. Sweet Girl worked away on a peanut today. Close by on another limb, one of her little ones ate a piece of peanut too. Their independence is growing pretty quickly. Snowy don't get any time alone. She always has at least one fledgling screaming at her. Admirable patience. Hermosa was still enjoying having the territory to himself. I saw him take down a small wasp nest and eat everything that was inside. Up close to Hatch's territory, I heard a little fledgling warbler. It was a magnolia. Such a tiny little thing. The mom was nearby. Apparently, some females can look a lot like males with a prominent necklace. Her head is very dull. The adults are officially free. All of them return to their normal territory to claim their favorite spots. It was pretty sweet watching them all return home. I don't think Hermosa was too happy though. I actually saw his mate Fiona. I think the second nest failed too. Oh my. The little ones are still down close to the neighborhood. It seems that for the first part of the day, the adults find themselves down with the young ones, checking on them and making sure everything is okay. By late afternoon, they are back up in their own territories. Watching young jays at this stage is the best. They are curious about everything. Of course, I leave pieces of peanuts here and there for them, like a little treasure hunt. I bet they love that. Hermosa still isn't happy with the other jays coming around the territory again. It's a beautiful summer morning down on the bog. The best part is that the gray jays came by. I haven't seen them in over a month. While with them, I noticed a lovely little family of ruby-crowned kinglets. It's hard to spot and keep up with those little guys. After a nice visit from the gray jays, I went to see Hatch. He was pretty upset. I think it's because of the jays. Hatch came down too. I'm not sure what he was eating. Probably very tiny insects. I've seen him do this before, but it's only around this time of year. After, he collected some pieces of peanuts, and then started alarm calling up in a tree. While he alarm called, I saw another nuthatch. I think it's Hatch's new mate. She didn't seem alarmed, so I'm not sure what Hatch was upset with. Blue is looking pretty raggedy and is molting in the same way he does every year. First, the chin and neck feathers. The ones that are growing in are irritating him too. That's normal during the molting process. Sweet Girl's looking pretty good though. Maybe it's all the sunning she does. The last day of July, hard to believe. The morning was greeted by a few lovely characters, hairy woodpeckers, cedar waxwing, and a fledgling northern water thrush. Hatch is molting heavily. He stays up in a tree preening a lot. And he always ends up getting upset with the jays. Hermoso doesn't care too much, he just wants a peanut. Shortly after, Blue came by. He was emotional. When Sweet Girl showed up, she was emotional too. It's Nova. Sweet Girl doesn't get along with her very well. Nova was more concerned with preening than anything else, though. Feisty J came by soon after. I really like his look during the molt. He really wanted to take 2 peanuts at once, and usually he can, but since it wasn't working out for him, he decided to hide one away. Someone was taking note. Blue. I thought Blue was going to take the peanut, but with Feisty J hanging around, I guess he figured he would take it later. I bet he did too. It's nice to see that everyone is back in their territory again. Now to get the molting done and over with, then the fun begins, enjoying the rest of summer and preparing for winter. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Bird Nerd diary. The next one will be sometime at the end of the month and will cover all of August. Then it will be September and finally I'll be caught up. By the way, there is a few hours left to grab one of these new crow shirts. I will leave a link down below in the description and in the comments. As always, thanks so much for your support. Have a wonderful new week ahead. Happy birding!